Episode 9. Welcome back to another episode at Consciously Evolving Enterprises. As always, I am your host, Mr. Ryan Dillon Brassington. A quick introduction. Okay, so this is a series of true short stories where we have been exploring the scary paranormal happenings caused by unfortunate domestic events in the family home. These are all freaky stories of survival in a domestic violent haunted home, from the memories of people that with lived experiences and have been kind enough to share their events and stories with us. Some seeking to find a common connection to verify the truth, others tell their truth to find healing, to heal that inner child and reconcile with a past long avoided, push away and shut down. With true tales they open the door where shadows linger in nightmares, memories, fragmented memories of a former life lived as a child, and the real-life monsters are the parents we are meant to love in that family home. Shane Wingold. 1990s. This uncle had passed away in violent deception, a manipulative plan that was set up to test his faith and love with a choice of life or death, the last moment of life for maximum guilt to obtain control of his wife, a decision that led to his death. As soon as I started writing about him, weird shit started to happen around the house. This is the same uncle who tattooed my ankle at the age of 7. Uncle Mark, aka Uncle Pirate, husband to Natalie, my mother's youngest sister. A tattoo artist by trade. Remembering his face wrinkled with the lines of a heavy life, the only feature I could describe is a face covered in beard, long hair and blue bandana, leather vest and blue jeans were worn as his daily uniform. Uncle Pirate is my mother's youngest sister's, Auntie Natalie, husband. Auntie Nat was beautiful young blue-eyed blonde, small petite, yet her stature did not represent her big personality. Pirate was a chair member of the well-renowned bikie gang called the Rebels. The gang is a very large group of Harley-Davidson enthusiasts, whom on occasion would dabble in organized crime and criminal accuracies, mostly to feed the family and fuel the bike's funding clubhouse events, off-rater income, profits, sales and exchanges assisted man and women to maintain businesses they fight to keep open, fighting for their family to eat, fighting to have the freedom to do the things they love. They are the ones that would risk anything to keep those things they held dear. Fighting ageist a government, a parliament, an army of military might, the police that keep us pacified, rebel against the authority beating you into place, into a workforce of drones, mindless laborers, vaccinated into conformity, and if you're non-compliant you are excluded from society, fined into homelessness, jailed with brothers that have long lost a lust for life, no willpower, null of desire, sitting a 4-wall cell for 14 hours, the glimmer of sunlight the only mental escape. And they call us criminal. I had a real sense of what that life was like. Mostly, it was great, rebel for the right to do the things you love. Makes sense to me: brotherhood, companionships, common interest, love, lust, passion and wild entertainment, something I would rebel for. Nat would be introduced to Mark Pirate at a party that is being held at a well-known underworld motorcycle bike clubhouse. The celebration would be one of many party events. Some events had been derived and planned by Mark in an effort to bring Natalie and himself closer together. He had developed a love interest in her, although 20 years of age was between them. The love quickly bloomed and blossomed into a marriage and 2 blonde blue-eyed children, living in a 3-bedroom suburban townhouse in a line with 10 other social units. The bikes, the booze, drugs and shady events. The club's profitable business had its dark side, as I'm sure you have already predicted. However, this was my childhood, hanging out at the Rebel Beakies clubhouse, seeing strippers, bikers doing dumb and fun shit. As a child I already only seen positives. Even the suicide of Pirate I held my private view from a young age and still remember thinking, he was a bad man. In the family, Auntie Nat and the children, Nadine, Jean, Shane, David, Goodwin, were better off without him. Not that I would ever wish anyone to live without their father. Mark Pirate done some terrible and unforgettable acts, some from love and others of pure hatred rage. I know now, he hated himself most of all, something he could not accept about himself. When he looked into his wife's eyes, a reflection of his weakness, that grew into hate, a hatred of what was and what he had become, influenced by the popularity of his growing portable tattoo business. Just a tip of the iceberg of the story I'm about to tell. Once while sitting on my uncle's lap at the kitchen table, trying to be one of the big boys as they drink beers, smoke through a plastic bottle they call a bong and mull bowl, the cigarette's burning red tip waving around through the dimly lit smoke room, leaving of a red beam in its wake, I'm soaking in the atmosphere, thinking, fuck yeah, hanging with the adults. How cool it is. Then a hiss. I'm painfully shocked back to reality of being a little dude when I felt that same red beam coming flying down in heated conversation towards my hand. Then bam, an overwhelming sting that burned, the sensation of one tooth snack bite, a fucking fire dragon from hell bit my hand, pinned under the force of an adult man. I jump with pain and instantly try to pull away, but I'm unable. The stinging continues with my hand held in place. Palm down, my uncle continues to put out his cigarette either. Drunk and ignorant or purposefully done his push down, twisting the cigarette out on the back of my hand like an ashtray. As his stabbing ambers into my flesh, I scream out in pain. The stench of burning flesh follows my yelp. My uncle then slaps the ambers away, my flesh scrapping off at the same time, him rubbing it to make it better, only rubber the tobacco ash into the wound, knocking every on the table with his radical expression, realizing what he had done. I'm frozen and shocked with the pain, inhaling with a gasp. I look down to see my hand swished palm down between the table's surface and a burning bulb heavy weighing down over the top. The burn felt like 1,000 bee stings all at once. The charred ashes embedded into the flesh of the back of my hand. Everyone got involved, each having a remedy of their own, so the burn was then brushed, swashed, hot asks brushed off in a blunder by being wiped with dry tea towel. Now the amber's finally out. You could see the ash, crusty, it looked like a bullet hole, Jesus nail hole. It hurt as much, the burn becoming unbearable, like a hot nail drilling its way through the back of my hand, throbbing, twisting pinch of stinging pain. The pain was dreadful and so intense it's caused me to get a headache, and shortly after, I remember feeling sick and sweaty. I passed out with a frozen packet of peas strapped around my hand. I passed for several hours and didn't awake until late the next day. As I previously stated, Uncle Pirate had a booming tattoo business as a well-renowned artist among his peers and other tattoo professionals. The idea of having a portable and mobile tattoo business had been an idea that became a practical and profitable company with a great reputation. The second Permian scar was done on purpose when one weekend, we were having a tattoo party of our own. Mum was getting a rose tattoo on her hip. Uncle Pirate refused to do a curled rose stalk as they didn't grow that way. This was my mother's only disappointment with a well-done tattoo. After he had finished, I approached him stating that was cool, uncle. Then asking as any curious child would, what was this? What was that? How does this work? What do you do with that? He replied, show me your ankle, expressionless and as straight as a pickle. Following up with, up here, look, I'll show you. I lift my ankle up and, okay, then quicker than I could react. Be buzz-easy. Fuck me, I scream out loud as I jump away as quick as I can, thinking fuck me, that felt worse than a bee sting. I rub my ankle to soothe the pain. I naturally look at my ankle bone and there right on the tip of the bone a little reddish blue-black dot. Holy shit, fuck me, I have a tattoo. My uncle gave me a tattoo, cool. I'm gonna be the only kid in year 4 with a real tattoo. So that week at school I bragged hardcore, showing everyone I could, look at me, I've got a tattoo. My uncle gave me a tattoo dot on my ankle, right here, look, me being just a little fella in year 4 bragging about the dot tattoo my uncle gave me had caught the welfare office's attention, this prompting an investigation. To continue talking about Uncle Mark aka Pirate, yes, that's right, a student in year 4. I had permanent ink on my ankle as an 8-year-old child. What a dick, really dick move. Now I'm a father myself. Oh my god, what the fuck did they let happen in the 80s? I would never allow it to happen. However, popularity and the celebrity life wouldn't last for Mark. Uncle Pirate had become entwined in a festering, violent, toxic culture that regrettably had those closest to him suffer the greatest pain of drug addiction and organized criminality, the consistency of strangers coming and going, the house living a constant revolving, repetitive, loud, and drunken party. It wasn't long before factors such as this lead to my auntie wanting a separation with all given right, but he wasn't going to let go so easy, the fractured mind of my uncle deriving deceptive plans and acts that are obscene. Even an onlooking child such as I can see the transparency of such lies as Auntie Nat tried her best to escape a domestically violent situation by staying secretly with family and alternate friends and ultimately a family refuge, single mom with 2 kids on the run from a very abusive ex-husband. The repetitive abuse cycle of mouse and ragged cat. The compacted social living made an event quickly spread gossip to share over a cup of tea and a slice of Vegemite toast, sipping with hand and smoking a fag cigarette whilst watch the drama develop from the concrete porch, perched on a picnic chair, without device to record. You have to watch every developing moment of unscripted real-life chaos of live events, on the street, within the house, even in the backyard. There was no such thing as privacy. So it was quickly noticed when we were locked outside of Auntie Nat's house. The door slammed in our face in silence, only the boom. Our last view is my auntie being held back onto the couch with Uncle Mark holding a knife to her throat. I remember the green door slamming closed and the gold door knocker tapped with the force. When it did, my uncle screamed out, fuck off, fuck OFF, standing there, shocked as to what just happened. Standing there with my older sister, cousin Shane David and a pram inside by baby cousin Nadine Jean. The door from 2 units up slowly opened and there stood Tennille welcoming us inside. Tennille, a beautiful girl 2 years my senior, opens the door. I instantly see her waving us over. I look to her and see her giant blonde curly frizzed hair, totally 80s style, big and goofy. From in the doorway she quietly directs us. I can't help to notice what she's wearing, a cotton white singlet nightgown with red frilled tips, her lightly freckled button nose, her height matching her elongated limbs and long pale neck, barefoot. I thought even her toes were cute, being long and nubbly, hanging over the doorstep's edge. Wow. Did I ever have a crush? 8-year-old me was like, oh yeah, I'm in love, whoop woo oh. Biggest crush ever, so much so that 1 year later I named my newborn baby sister in her honor, Tennille Eliza. Now my daughter carries the name Eliza as her middle. In honor of my sister /S, the second name carried on from my sister Stephanie is her middle name Jade. Maybe one day they will carry these names on. We were all thankful, quiet, and relieved to get inside. However, Auntie Nat was still in trouble and needed help. As I've expressed this, I was quickly claimed, soothed by Tennille's whispering voice, Tennille informing me that the police were on their way. I called 2 minutes ago, so it wouldn't be long before they're here. Here they are now. Tennille's mother calmly made her way out toward the police and informs them she has the children inside and he has a knife held to her throat. The rest was covered from our eyes until questioned by investigators who came sometime after. Escape they tried, but he was relentless, claiming ownership of her soul and all that she is, the children his to take or leave. Hiding became a challenge and required intervention. One of the fonder memories I have was at Uncle Pirate's 50th birthday party. I remember there was a camera recording and I passed doing the strong man flex, where somewhere recorded is me with my mullet, flat top and black armless shirt, the grandmother made Ion on Harley diversion glittering reflective sticker worn proudly by my younger mischievous self. At Uncle Pirate's 50th birthday party not only did I see my first stripper but also seen him use the ladies' butt cheeks to open his beer bottle. God knows what happened to the bottle cap. I also what a part of 4-man trio planned on stealing the stripper's clothes once she was naked, and on course it was your truly who made the first move, running out to the backyard to make an obvious dash towards the clothes. We see the nurse uniform laying unattended, as the lady is distracted playing with her crutch, bim, yelling, dash and run. As we snatch up the underwears, uniform, shoes and hat, taking off with the lot. The audience cheered us on, laughing, yelling, swearing and carrying on as we scramble, hiding the clothes in the letter box. We stopped after to notice her car was full of 1,000 different outfits and uniforms, from police to clowns, wings and furs. Then, boom boom boom, where's my stuff now? Where is my stuff? We could hear the audience laughing from where we were out front. Boom, 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 the lady violently swings open the screen door, the hydraulic hinge slows the door from swinging open with her rage, making her even angrier. She fights with the door to get out, still yelling, I want my stuff, where's my stuff? Once she manages to get out the door, stumbling forward, we realize she's naked, still, all her jelly bits jiggling with nothing to hide behind. She was a bigger lady with it all hanging out, her mummer jugs exposed, thick thighs and public hair. Everywhere shock as C ran looking for her stuff. However, she didn't care, still in rage of her stolen items. Looking at her was not pretty or attractive, us giggling behind the bushes and her screaming for her clothes. We agreed the prank was now over. And also successfully funny. So then we returned the clothes, and everyone cheers, including the entire neighborhood that had gathered to look on after hearing the commotion. Darts at an unpacked clubhouse, just hanging out, being a kid among strange new things, exploring the clubhouse and the surrounding lands littered with auto parts in a rusted grave of Vertical's yard, keeping busy whilst the adults do their business thing. Always having my cousin Shane by my side gave me confidence, and we were never shy to try something new and dangerous. Shane and I were close as children and only separated because of teenage dramas and adult life, he now with children of his own. Now an overwhelming obligation that I'm feeling to complete this story about him. Shortly after Uncle Pirate's 50th birthday, the consistent parting, passing of strangers in and out of the house and living the local celebrity life quickly fueled the determination for Auntie Nat to escape, her children threat, her own life in danger. The already violent situation had been magnified by her being caught packing a travel bag for her and the children. This was when we /us children were forced outside while my auntie has Bowie knife held to her throat. This event led to the opportunity to have him charged, however she did not and instead went on the run with her two children. On this occasion my auntie was staying with my grandmother Leonine when the phone rang, then being answered by my grandmother, who heard a teenaged male in a panic, saying that, Dad was just arrested by D's, the detectives. Nan who? What? The teenager paused and spoke to someone in the background and was clearly being prompted. My Nana, being full-witted, wasn't going to be fouled by such statements. The fake news so scripted that you could hear someone Mark telling him what to say. Knowing this, my Nan played the stupid card. The teen was Aaron, Mark's first-born son from his first marriage. It's Aaron, is Nat there? Asking again for Auntie Nat again, Nan replying, who, what? Aaron repeated, it's Aaron, is Nat there? Dad was just arrested by detectives. My grandmother replying, "Well then, are you okay?" He replies, "Yeah." Nan follows on with, "Well, other than that I really don't give a flying pig's ass, all the best." Hanging up the phone. Nan was hesitant to tell Auntie Nat, however she had been listening in the background, and after the call they both discuss how it is just another ploy for Nat to tricked into returning to Mark, pirate, and his violent was. No one knew that this time Mark would make a decision that would be fatal in a diabolical plan to deceive and have the return of his wife in a last-minute savior to rekindled. A plan that failed and left him hanging from the manhole. Dead and alone. So from my understanding, Uncle Pirate had tried every trick conceivable to convince and manipulate my auntie to come back, none being successful, and in his desperation he had tied a noose with a thick brown rope. He then fixed that rope to the manhole that was upstairs and to the left, just out of sight. He then wrote a letter to my Auntie Nat, put it in an envelope and placed it on the bottom stair. Later we learnt the letter was a plea for her immediately go upstairs. However, whatever he had imagined didn't go as planned. After sending his son to make the call to inform Nat that Mark had been arrested, Aaron went to a friend's house and wanted the couple to work things out, as the intention was my auntie would come back to the unit to collect belongings and the children's things, hoping that when she entered she would see the letter, read it and come to his rescue, rushing up the stairs. Just in time to save his life. However, as I stated, things didn't go to plan. While Pirate wanted up in the manhole for my auntie to come in the front door, after hours of waiting finally the door creaked open, Pirate slowly lowering himself down while Nat read the letter, letting go of the ledge, holding the rope, the weight forcing the rope to tighten, waiting for her to rush up the stairs. Time passes, his barely holding his own body weight. Come on, where is she? Why is she not rush up the stairs? You see, Auntie Nat had no intentions of returning under any circumstance, and in this instance it was Pirate's best friend Wally that had opened the door unannounced as he always did. However, seeing the letter addressed to Nat, Wally turned around and quietly left when realizing his could be interrupting any form of reconciliation. He simply creeped quietly back out the door. Uncle Mark had been mistaken and was hanging by a rope alone, within minutes giving in to his own body weight. He scratched, dug and tried to grasp the tightened noose that only drew tighter and tighter as blood filled his face. His eyes bulged with the strain and lack of blood flow compressing within his skull, his tongue forced through his grinding teeth, as the final breath leave his chest in a long heavy exhale. His legs twitch in a final effort to define death, however his death inevitable, left hanging dead and alone. For unknown reasons his son Aaron returned and with his shock made addictions that confused all including investigators. When he found his father hanging corpse, he reacted by going the back pocket of the deceased and removing the wallet, taking the wallet downstairs and removing all the cash and leaving the wallet on the stairs next to the unopened letter. Aaron then went down the pub and consumed 5 to 8 beers and spent $1,300 of his now dead father's money on betting and gambling. On poker machines. It was only once the funds were gone that he called the ambulance and was completely honest, explaining the situation and the past 24 hours. As stated before, no child deserves to live without their father, but this guy was a very bad man. I can't help to say there were better off. The paranormal happenings that started when I was writing part 1 of this story. I stopped instantly to listen to unfamiliar sounds in my apartment. Wait a minute. Pausing, still posed with my ears attentive to all and any sounds. It happens, there goes that sound again. What was that? What could that be? I lay in my bed wondering, questioning. The emotion of fear enters the room like an uninvited guest, creeps up onto my bed and theists on my chest with overwhelming dread. You see, even when originally writing this story of my uncle, things around me started to get spooky. The environment in my apartment changed. Knowing it was writing about his uncle, I finished as soon as I could and cast the spirit out, as documented below, without his personal story involved. As I wrote, I tried to document what was happening as I wrote the words down describing my uncle and his evil deeds. The stories that followed below, my reality got fucking shaken, shit got freaky. So, I was starting to think I'm going crazy. I put my phone on record to capture any paranormal activity and begin typing away at my computer. Over the next 3 days it took me to complete his story. My apartment was haunted. At first one single loud, relentless, invisible mosquito continually buzzing around the room all night. Every time the light came on it was unable to be found, like the motherfucker was an invisible ninja from hell. Random noises turned to instant concern with an overwhelming sensation there was something supernatural going on. I swear, you know when things just aren't right? Sleep deprivation from a mosquito turns into being punched by a ghost, you know it, but still you doubt yourself to see it and disbelieve your vision looking into this reality. Your ears play tricks, to hear a voice that isn't close or even home, the sound your furniture moving and nothing's changed, the sound of the TV on with the volume full, to swing open your door and realize nothing is on. Hearing the popping sound of rubbish milk cartons being kicked like soccer ball around my living room while I'm trying to sleep, all this shit way going on while writing about this uncle and the person he was, the first person I knew to pass away from suicide. As soon as I had finished writing the story down on paper, I instantly cleansed the house and all seemed to go back to normal after that, but still holy shit, that was unreal, for left the documentation in my story about this person, so if the writing suddenly cut to describing what was happening around me at the time, I'll try to make sure it stands out to save any confusion. I wanted to leave the events in there for you to experience with me at the time of remembering and writing about this person and their influence on my life and the lives around him, and describing great moments and events filled with terror had brought the energy to my door. From start to finish there was something else present and growing stronger in my apartment, first bizarre, then weird, then holy shit, can I really hear that? Then lastly before closing chapter I felt something punch upwards from under my bed, thud. I paused thinking maybe it was my breathing, hold still, thud, thud a shit twice, that defiantly happened. I'm getting up to finish the story, then as I said before I had to cleanse the house of all spirits and energies that aimed to cause disorder. Anything that was feeding on fear was now gone. Pushed out the front door. I'm procrastinating typing it up, aren't I? Shit. Okay. I'm taking a break. Then when or if I come back, the story of Uncle Pirate, with current at the time supernatural events included. Let's go. Okay, it's taken me a few days to build up the courage to continue writing about this uncle. It's not bring up his character that frightens me, but it is and was the paranormal events that start to accrue whilst writing about this uncle, bring up his personality, conjured his spirit and his essence begun haunting my home. Driven to document, I immediately began writing everything down as it happened. It was spooky and for many happenings to be coincidence. Once finished the house was cleansed of any non-living entity, driven out the door with love and light white as clouds and be blue as the sky, with the smoke of sage chanting, I am love, I give love, I receive love, go towards the light or fuck OFF. I am love, I give love, I receive love, go towards the light or fuck OFF. I am love, I give love, I receive love, go towards the light or fuck OFF. I am love, I give love, I receive love, go towards the light or fuck OFF. I am love, I give love, I receive love, go towards the light or fuck OFF. I am love, I give love, I receive love, go towards the light or fuck OFF. I am love, I give love, I receive love, go towards the light or fuck OFF. Then bill, rattle, swoosh. It was gone. I felt something leave, an energy, a gust of wind being sucked out the front door, the sudden swoosh, pushing me to the tips of my toes as I'm pushed forward, formed something rushing out from behind me and out the door like someone pushed past to rush out, but there was nothing solid, no mass, just a gust of large bulking dark energy finally gone. Myself, Podgy, talking from the present, in the now. In typing this paragraph I had a real sense of what that life was like. Mostly, it was great, rebel for the right to do the things you love. Real world when writing, I can seriously hear heavy metal music, full guitar, singer, drums beating, but the music isn't just out of earshot so I can't quite make out the lyrics, but I do hear the singing. I sit still, in silence, trying to figure out where the music is coming from and what song it could be. Have I heard it before? I ask myself in searching for source. Swear to God, it's coming from the fan. The fan is on across the room as I write right now. I hear music, like metallic but heavier, with a second singer in a higher tone singing comes in to sing chorus, with a thrashing electric guitar, long high rock and roll styled with heavy metal, is one way I could describe what I am hearing. Real world, okay, went to bed last night and dead set could hear what sounded like an empty milk bottle being thrown around my lounge room. Pop, 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 tap, boom, tap, tap, pop, tap, thud, crackle, smack, pop. What the fuck is that? I hesitate to get up and look, creeping to the door, then I swing it open ready to fight. Nothing, there's nothing there, not even a milk bottle. I ask myself what the fuck could that be? Truly, what the heck is that? As I get up and wonder about the apartment search of the cause, a strange feeling of an unwelcome prescience was manifesting. I felt like I wasn't alone, but whatever it is small, very small. Still there's something other than me here in my house. The feeling is like a dangerous spider came in and you don't know where it went. It's here somewhere, my arm hair's standing on end, but it's not goosebumps. Fuck this, I'm going back to bed. Then an invisible mosquito haunted me for hours. Even after I sprayed, the little shit lived and tormented me all throughout the night. Every time I turned the light on it was buzzing around but I couldn't see it. What is this? Where is this fucker? 3-4 times later I sprayed. Moments later, buzz, gravity bubble shifting past, buzzing loudly. Fucking mosquito, it'll kill you fucker. Hours later, okay, where the fuck are why you're gonna die, you annoying little fuck stick. I went to slept with the blanket over my head. When he awoke and stuck my head out to get some air, was meet with beauty. Oh my god, fuck you bastard. I whipped the pillow against the mattress directly next to my head. It stopped. Thankfully, I feel back to sleep. However, when I first opened my eyes and thought about the haunting mosquito, beauty, I still can't see the littlest E buzzing right in front and around my head, still invisible. Real time, just had a cockroach crawl on me. Gross. Coincidence? Real world when writing. Strange happenings have been going on in the past few days of writing about this particular person. Freaky, spooky, supernatural has become paranormal, man. I'm actually a bit frightened. Bloody ominous things have been going on just like now. I've literally just now jumped back out of bed to write this down and finish this fucking story about him. I don't want to repeat his name right now. I'll tell you what just happened. After a few hours of writing about this person, I turn off the computer, then the lights. I fight with the same solo mosquito that has been buzzing around the room and house for the past 2 days. I now have brought 3 plug-in repellents, 2 in the bedroom, 1 in the lounge room. I head to bed and naturally lay down on my bed. I settle into the grooves just as relax. Strike. Boom. It felt like my heartbeat suddenly beat out of rhythm with a strike, a strain like a bass boom through my torso from bottom to top as I lay on my back. Shit, what was that? Did just have a stroke? A heart attack? I pause my breathing and hold my body still, investigating. I lay still, looking around the room with my eyes wide open and my eyebrows down. Strike, strike, thud, thud. My chest lifted from the mattress being pushed up from beneath the base. Something just pushed with what felt like a fist up and through the bed, but not the base as it is thick slates of wood. The entire bed shook as if you could imagine the flat mat being pushed quickly twice, shuffling up, push, push, then dropping back down, shifting the mattress back into the frame. The bed shook with the gravity of the downward force. The bed itself wasn't shaking. Fuck me, fuck that, so I jump back up here. And now and document as above, and now I'm going to try and continue writing until I'm finished this story in particular. It's causing some super freaky shit, my dude, me lady. This is all for reals, I swear it. I just wanted to share it as it's happening while I write. March 16, 22. Real world typing this up. I just got up and walked 2 steps away and the main lounge room light just flicked twice, flick flick. Coincidence? 07/4/22. Now an overwhelming obligation that I'm feeling to complete this story about him. This SHI needs to be finished and chapter closed as soon as possible. Just now typing I heard 3 knocks I am going to ignore. Fuck shit, holy shit, for real, and honestly, why would I lie? This is Steven Spielberg or J.K. Rowling. I'm just writing a series of stories about my uncles. The stories are for my daughters and maybe family, but really think about that. Why would I bullshit this? It's just me and the computer here, me typing while watching YouTube History Mysteries. A plan that failed and left him hanging from the manhole, dead and alone. Thank God that story is over and done. That's the end of this one. Thank you for listening, reading, sharing. We appreciate you. See you next time at Consciously Evolving Enterprises.